Welcome, welcome, Supply Chain Innovators. That's the name of our show. And I'm your host, Mrs. Agriculture America, and resident environmental scientist for GreenPath Tech and Trucking Tower. What we do is help companies to save on their net fuel spend between 10 to 23%, and that's all across America for fleets. We also have an EPA certification and a money back guarantee. And we are here today with the Safety and Recruiting Director of Chocolate Covered Trucking. And I wanted to introduce you to him. His name is Michael Love. Michael, thank you for coming on the show.
Hey, how you doing? I'm Michael Love with Chocolate Covered Trucking. Thanks for having me.
So, can you tell us a little bit about your role at Chocolate Covered Trucking and what it is that you do there in the supply chain industry?
Yes. So again, my name is Michael Love with CCTI. I've been here for 4 years now, starting as an owner operator, moving and progressing along as taking on various roles as dispatch, planning, sales, and now I service the current role or position as a safety and recruiting director. I've been in the industry altogether for about 10 years, spanning from the oil fields in Southeast Texas to across the country in different oil refineries to UPS, Swire Coca-Cola, and now Chocolate Covered Trucking. I've done everything from local deliveries to regional to OTR, long haul, also up to, managing 300 plus workers. Prior to the engagement in transportation, I, proudly served in the Air Force. My military experience, it instilled in me a strong sense of discipline and attention to detail and a commitment to safety and excellence. And these principles alone have been the fundamental shaping point for me for my approach with the ensuring the highest standards in safety and operations here at Chocolate Covered Truck.
Wow. Well, that's pretty impressive. Can you tell us a little bit more about what you're doing at what Chocolate Covered Trucking does, aside
Chocolate
from just
Covered
your
Truck,
role?
yes, more about Chocolate Covered Trucking.
No, I'm
Well,
interested in both. I'm interested in both. I want to
okay.
hear it
Well,
all.
Chocolate Covered Trucking has been operating over 23 years now. Has a manpower workforce of 23 plus drivers. We're located here in Greeley, Colorado. We The name might suggest that it focuses on chocolate, but we handle a lot more than that. Though we can haul chocolate for you, give us a call. But we specialize in temperature controlled products such as beef, lamb, pet foods, and produce as well. And then we also, alongside of that, offer services such as local dirt work or sand hauling. That can be anywhere from the oil fields to construction projects to road surfacing projects as well here in the county.
Wow. Did you see that? You know that Pennsylvania is the chocolate. I live in Pennsylvania. So
Yes.
we are the chocolate capital of the United States here in Hershey. So I have my Hershey mug today for chocolate covered trucking. Um, so yeah, and I wanted to talk to you a little bit about that name. So why is it that you guys are the sweetest ride in the land? Where'd you come up with that?
Well, I may ask you, it's catchy, isn't it?
It is. It's very catchy. And I talk to a lot of different fleets across America, and I have not uncovered one such as
Well,
chocolate
no,
covered
I
trucking.
understand. I understand. Well, the thing, chocolate came from, it was a name curated by the owner, and he wanted to be, well, how can I say, he wanted to come up with something that was a bit different, something that stood out and, in a way, brought a smile to your face when you said the name. Because in the industry, we don't see enough of that. They can be tough at times, and the times that are good just don't seem long enough. So it was a derivative of everything altogether.
So that's so sweet, literally. So what else did you want to tell me about your company? I wanted to find out a little bit more about um, your operations and what else it is that you're doing that might be considered unique in the industry, or what would you say is your differentiator? Is the question.
Well, Like most trucking companies, I mean, it's pretty straightforward. You pick up the load on time and you deliver it on time in the safest manner that you can, while while being what you call adherent to the general public and the laws of the road. But what I would say our niche would be probably the most or the biggest niche that we have outside of just carrying on with those trucking principles would probably be our hotshot relay service that we offer for a lot of our customers that we have. And that entails a relay service that we do here. It's how can I best explain it? It's more so of a without disrupting current dispatches out on the road. All right, we're able to actually utilize the same drivers and just relay a load, pushing it out. And so a load doesn't have to sit somewhere for 10 hours waiting on the sleeper. We get it onto another driver, and we're able to strategically plan that out without delaying any of our current dispatches.
And do you do that through, I believe you said you had your own specialized type of software. Is that how you're able to do that through the software that you have created?
Well, believe it or not, the software more so is just a data entry point to tell you what we've already done. But yes, there is a lot of there's a lot in the software that helps us come up with those determining factors that's involved with curating such a plan. But a lot of it also comes down to our planning position and dispatch. They're very strong. Our dispatch program and team, they're very strong and very well experienced. As a matter of fact, one of our dispatchers has been with us for quite some time, but in the industry for even longer, and actually used to work over at Munford prior to his tenure here at CHOP, at Munford being one of the oldest, most recognized transportation outfits here in the area.
Interesting. So I know that you have some unique optimization and operations um, efficiencies when it comes to safety. Can you tell us a little bit more about how it is that you value safety and what it is that you're doing that you believe is above the ball, above the rim, or above the above par compared to what the standard
Yes.
people are doing?
Yes, staying above par.
Yeah.
Always staying a step ahead. That's
Hmm.
anytime anymore. It's the only way you're going to make it. So our safety program that we have now in place, it focuses a lot on the way the driver handles the truck. Okay, from the fuel efficiency that they're using to the speed that they're utilizing, even more into um, retraining and current training that follows over to it. So the biggest thing that we've done is changed out our pay scale from cents per mile to an hourly wage.
Mm.
By doing so, and then it's also the hourly wage is a variance that is based off of the fuel performance. Now, by doing so, it's caused the drivers to want to slow down to get the better performing mile. While the
Wow,
drivers are slowing down, that's creating them to drive at safer speeds.
that's
And
amazing.
since they're not idling as much, yeah, we can give off our foot in the blueprint there. Our footprint. We can kind of descale back on our footprint on the ozone layer there as a company, and because it's less idle time as well. And everything said and done, the drivers are happier. DOT loves us. Believe it or not.
They don't usually like
Insurance
anybody.
reps, yeah, right. Look, insurance reps can't get enough of a program on how we're actually implementing these things. And it's one thing to just say this is what we're going to do, but everything evolves around that when it comes down to their dispatch and how they're going to be transitioning a load or transporting a load across the country. So the safety has been really, really big here, and it's been a success.
Amazing. Yeah, that's one great thing that we do at Green Path Tech is we're able to reduce emissions by over 21% on average through our combined 6-in-1 green fuel technology. So it's some really amazing stuff that's out there. If you guys don't know about it, get in touch with us or contact Chocolate Covered Trucking. I'll tell you the ways of the road. So what else can you tell me a little bit? I guess that you did tell me about the hot shot last minute dispatches. You told me about that, about the strategies for the changing of the compensation. Um, what other things can you tell me about success stories that you've had?
Well, well, really, I mean, for the success stories itself, I mean, that's really our biggest one. That's our major success.
Yeah, that's probably
Being
the
hourly pay
highlight.
program. Honestly, I mean, we're one of very few, if not maybe the only small carrier authority in OTR long haul that has converted from cents per mile to an hourly pay.
Hmm,
So
yeah.
it's still a rarity. It would be nice to see more carriers do so, because seeing the success of our safety program, the hourly pay plays just as big of a part into it. So
Hmm.
it would be nice to see more carriers do such. But that's become our point of pride for us, is that hourly
Hmm. Awesome. Awesome. So, you were going to tell me a story about a challenge you had in the winter? It sounds,
Yeah.
is it funny or is it scary?
Yeah, well, we all had challenging situation. We had a challenging situation during the winter storm that it highlighted the importance of the safety procedures and roadside awareness. Um,
Hmm.
it unfortunately is not one of those happy endings, but I will say before I start that everyone was able to. Everyone stayed alive. Let's just say
Good.
that. Everyone stayed alive.
That's a happy ending.
Yeah, well, it could have been a lot worse from where it was headed to.
Well, I think I told
But
you my husband's a truck driver and he calls me sometimes and he'll say, "Oh, I was on this ice patch and the truck started to slide and it's a good thing I knew what to do or else I'd be dead right now." And I'm like, I don't know if it's worth
yeah,
it.
right.
Like, is it worth our lives? You know?
To go back out there, yeah. Unfortunately, but someone has to do it.
Yeah,
It's better for the more experienced and the safety feared drivers to
yeah.
be out there on those roads, especially during those times, because while we do implement new devices such as automatic chains to regular tire chains to our ABS systems on our equipments and such, even things such as fuel tank heaters, to help with the anti-gelling of things.
Hmm.
It all plays a part into trying to make it through, but inevitably at the end, sometimes you have to be able to call when it's just too much.
Hmm.
I do
Yeah.
have a story for that. So basically, what happened was one winter during the Christmas break, we had a driver pulling a load across Nebraska on I-80 when a severe storm hit. The tractor experienced fuel gelling despite the anti-gel measures that have all been taken by that time. With no immediate assistance available, the driver was stranded and had to be rescued by law enforcement, highlighting the harsh realities of the winter driving conditions at that point.
Hmm.
Well, after the storm had passed, we still had a load sitting there that needed to get to the customer for plant production. It had already been 3 days past. Um, we dispatched another experienced driver who was also a mobile diesel mechanic prior to his tenure here with the company. So his skill set and his capabilities were there, and his willingness to be able to do such was also there as well. There wasn't anything that we forced upon the driver, and he was very confident in being able to assist with this. We try to get tow trucks, try to get wreckers, everything leading up to it. Nobody was available. Nobody would even try. So we wait till the storm passed, and this is what happened with the, this is how we got to where the driver was dispatched out there and recovered the load. Unfortunately, during the retrieval process, the passing civilian vehicle collided with our recovery vehicle, causing a
Mm,
chain reaction that led up to injuries and significant damage. Um, this incident underscored the need for heightened awareness for the road and the unpredicted nature of emergencies, despite our best preparations. From setting out uh, the triangles behind the load so that people could see it on oncoming traffic, to having a secondary driver in the unit with the recovering driver to help assist with traffic control and everything of the nature. While staging, the civilian driver just simply did not merge over, and going at the highway speed 75 miles an hour clipped him in the rear end, overcorrected after the contact, ran off into the median, forcibly was stopped by the guardrail, and the
hmm.
passenger was ejected.
Oh my.
They had to be life flighted out of there to a hospital nearby, which again had to be life flighted from there to a bigger and better hospital. Um, Luckily, at the end, uh, everyone survived. Everyone has survived, and that was the best case scenario at that point. There there was a lot of time in between that weighed heavy on our hearts because the resulting outcome was still unsure a month and a half after the incident.
Mm, hmm.
So it was really disheartening at that time. But
Yeah,
there was a lot
I
to
can
take away
imagine.
from that incident too.
Yeah, I'm sure that affects every employee, every person that works for the company. Everyone's thinking about it. Everyone's praying, thinking about how it is that they could help or what they could do or what could we have done differently.
Yeah.
Um, you could roll over those things in your mind over and over again. You know, um, I'm glad that everybody made it out okay. Sometimes I believe that some of the mandates will, affect what kind of choices that we make, which leads me to my next question, which is, what kind of industry regulations or mandates do you believe should be changed to benefit your company or the trucking industry at large?
Well, I'd say two of the biggest ones right now that I'm advocating for myself, um, and one of them actually relates back to that incident. Nebraska state law only allows the protection of working roadside or emergency vehicles on the side of highways to those that are identified as tow trucks, wreckers, ambulance, and law enforcement. If you as a civilian was broke down on the side of the road, had your hazard lights on and everything of the nature, and another civilian vehicle or any vehicle came by without giving you proper distance or merging over because you were broken down and had your hazards on, and they struck you, then it was your fault.
Hmm.
It was your fault that you were broke down on the side of the road, and you're held at fault.
Hmm.
And that's not right.
Yeah, that seems a little strange. I'm not sure why. I really don't understand some of these
But
things
Nebraska
myself.
isn't the
It's
only
just this is
state.
why I talk to you guys
Yeah,
to try to figure it out.
yeah, I get it. Yeah. But
But
Nebraska
it
isn't the
turns
only
out,
state.
I'm sorry,
No,
but
you're
it
fine.
turns out that sometimes you guys don't agree with what's happening and don't really understand what the purpose is of it either. So that's what we're
True.
trying to get to the bottom of a lot of these things.
Yeah,
Um,
true.
so yeah, but I'm sorry, did I interrupt you? Go ahead.
Just a little. That's okay.
Do that
But
sometimes.
Nebraska isn't the only state that's doing that, and that's legislation that needs to be.
Oh, I think we lost you, Michael. Your video?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Oh, there you are.
Big feet.
So you were talking about Nebraska's regulation.
Yeah, sorry, but Nebraska regulations, they're not the only state that's like that. There's way more states here in the country, and that's something that it needs it needs more advocacy for, and it should be held at a federal level. But right now, it's only being held at a state level, and until we get more advocacy for that, it won't change.
Mm-hmm.
There are some states that has done it already, and I applaud those states, but it needs to be countrywide, honestly, nationwide. It needs to happen. Second thing, and my second mandate that I have an opinion on, but at the same time, there's a lot to dive into. There's a lot of these carb regulations that's coming out of the West on the other side of the mountains over there,
Mm-hmm.
um, you know, they keep coming out with additional rules, or they keep coming out with, additional equipment to add on that's essentially just boggling the engine and causing them more of a safety hazard than they are being efficient. Quite frankly, you've already implemented the DPF DEF system as is, but I think from the amount of smog or air pollution that they're trying to prevent could be same said prevented if they simply mandated for warranties on those systems to be regulated at an extended true life expectancy of the engine.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Are you going to cut it off at 600,000 miles when nobody buys a truck to only go 600,000 miles?
And I think that that's really the biggest objection that we come across over at Green Path Tech and Trucking Tower. They say, oh, well, what about our warranty if we're using this green fuel technology? The Magnuson Moss Warranty Act we're actually in accordance with that. So, and it says that you cannot outlaw an additive when it comes to your warranty. So, and people are like, oh, why? I don't want to jeopardize my warranty. Well, if you can save 10 to 23% and it's legal, then why would you not?
Understand?
You know, here's the law right here. And then people are like, oh, no, 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 no. Um, but anyway, so, but yeah, that's definitely a good one. Did you have any other mandates that you think should be changed for any reason?
I think those two would be a good start. I think
Good
those two
start.
would be a good start. I mean, there's a lot of other things that comes down to, driver safety, and concealed carry permits. There's a lot that comes down to even truck parking and, um, the excessive fees that they're charging for such in certain areas or certain regions. It's just, I, what happens if the driver can't afford that and they
Mm-hmm.
don't have any more hours? Where are they going to go? Because they didn't
Mm-hmm.
find out until they got there, and they're new to the area. What's going to happen?
Mm-hmm.
It's just a lot of things. And then don't get me started on these potholes. Lack of lack of regulations that's actually fixing. I'm telling you, I'm saying they quick to take the taxes. They're quick to
Well,
take
the
the
reason
taxes,
I'm
but what
laughing
happened
so
to
hard
that?
is because, we have really bad potholes here in Pennsylvania. And like I said, I'm Mrs. Agriculture America. So I saw this thing recently where they started planting flowers in the potholes to draw attention to them. And I was thinking maybe I should go do that. But then I was thinking, oh, I don't know. So
Mm,
it's a little you're drawing a lot of attention there, but you're supposed to report them. And after they've been reported a couple times, then they go and address them. But you can't, go and try to sue the city for not filling a pothole unless it has been reported multiple times. Isn't
mm,
that strange? That's
very.
just regulation here anyway.
Mm,
But yeah, potholes definitely agree. They can be disastrous. I mean, not just with big trucks, but small cars,
yeah,
people whipping around on those things and you get stuck in there and you never get out.
yeah. You never get out. You end up in the median or a
Yeah,
ditch somewhere because it's a steer tire and you can't control the load behind you. But
right.
who am
It's
I?
even worse. Yeah.
Yeah,
Jeez.
steer blowouts very dangerous. Very dangerous.
So can you tell us a little bit about what you've done since COVID-19? You did some changes for your customers, I believe.
Well, yes. Well, As mentioned earlier, we adjusted the hourly pay.
Right.
We also began to embrace new technology to navigate the challenges posed by the pandemic, to include, online dispatching, to cloud services, to AI integrations. We've also implemented better hiring practices as well. Um, and that really entails back to our safety program, where we've put into place, a stronger orientation program that helps identify a driver's weakness while also retraining them on those weaknesses, and it's essentially making them a better driver, productive
Yeah.
for both the company and the driver itself.
And how many drivers do you have again? I think you said you have two different companies that are also, yeah, like
Yes,
Chocolate
so
Covered Trucking is the parent.
we are the pride. Well, not, excuse me, wrong letter, wrong letter. Not the pride, but we are built up of. Sorry, I might have to
You're
cut
built
that
up
out.
of what?
We're built up of about 23 plus drivers right now amongst the different entities. Right during the slow season or off season for our dirt hauling division or company, they actually do an interchange and they haul for the temperature control division as well, which our customers are happy about as well, because they are actually able to get more capacity out of us at that point in time. And given our niche of dependability, they
Hmm.
really enjoy that. They really enjoy that. And then during the summer months, it's easier for bringing on newer drivers. Those that aren't of our culture just yet. It's easier to train without the winter weather conditions during that time as well. So, but given all of that in whole, I'd say that's about how we were able to kind of control the climate of the COVID-19 pandemic.
Nice. Yeah, and I know that in a previous show, someone had Chad Shoup at Tri-State Commodities was talking about how important it is to, really build value and take care of your drivers and make sure that they are happy and that they're always learning and that they feel like they can, work with the company and really valuing them. So I think that it's from what it sounds like you have that same type of values,
Yes.
investing in your drivers and their safety and their knowledge and continuously improving and building on where it is that they may have a misunderstanding in the past and working with that and growing. So that's good. So we just have a couple more questions for you. Uh, um, let's see here. I wanted to find out about what other advice that you could offer other companies and startups in the trucking industry facing similar industry challenges?
Well, my advice would be to focus on building a robust safety program. For example, I would lead by example, and prioritize your driver's well-being. Honestly, for the long-term success and customer satisfaction, you want to keep your drivers. Driver retention is part of none. Um, but at the same time, if you don't have customers, what good are your drivers? So you got to make sure the drivers that you have are up to the satisfaction of your customers. Otherwise, it's just bad
Mhm.
business. It's just bad business. Okay. But keeping that instilled and implementing that proper or that engaging safety program, is it creates a culture for your company that, honestly, without that culture, you probably wouldn't make it for the long haul.
Great words of wisdom there. I appreciate it. Anything else that you'd like to add that maybe we didn't get to ask or that you'd like to include in on your show with chocolate covered trucking?
Um, mm, mhm. No, I don't think so. I don't
Is
think
that
so.
that's all for now?
I think
Okay.
that's all, folks.
Well, we are so blessed to have you on the show, Mr. Michael Love. All of your experience. We are so grateful that you have taken the time to spend with us and educate the industry. And we want to say from the bottom of our hearts at Green Path Tech and Trucking Tower, thank you for joining us. And what we do again, once again, I'm Mrs. Agriculture America, resident environmental scientist for Green Path Tech and Trucking Tower. We help companies to save money and on their net fuel spend by 10 to 23% with green fuel technology. And we also have a money back guarantee and EPA certification. So thanks so much again for joining us. And we'll see you on the next episode of Supply Chain Innovators. Bye bye.
Thank you.